Good evening, everyone. This is North Shore Preparedness coming to you from the beautiful shores of Lake Ontario. Today is Wednesday, August the 13th, 2020. And what I wanted to talk to you guys about today was long-term food storage, okay? Now, we've all gone out and we bought all of this rice and beans. Now, what do we do with it is the question, right? Let me just back that, zoom up a little wee bit. I think I'm always cutting my head off in these. I take terrible videos. Oh, wrong way. Here we go. See if that works. That's a little better. Okay. Yeah, so rice and beans, go get your rice and beans. We've all done that. Let me just turn this viewfinder around so I can see to make sure it's running. Okay, yeah, so we've all gone out and we got our rice and beans. What do we do with it? Now today we're going to talk about dry canning. And it's a very, very simple technique. All you need is a mason jar, rings, lids, and an oven. Plus whatever product you're going to put inside. But I'm going to take you through how easy it is to do. Now the first thing you want to do is you want to wash, rinse, and dry your jars. Now, how I make you want your jars completely dry. Now, how I make sure that they're completely dry and sterilized is I put my jars into a 250-degree oven for a half an hour, and that'll make sure they're completely dry and sterilized. You want no moisture in this product. This is a dry canning technique for dry goods only. Today we're doing beans, 3 different types of beans, and we're doing rice today. But you can also do oatmeal. You can do flour. You can extend the shelf life of your flour up to 6 years or more with this technique. A lot of people have said they have a short shelf life on flour, a year, year and a half, whatever. I've never had any problem with flour up to 2 years, just stored in the cupboard in a bag. But this will extend the shelf life of that for sure. So you get your jars cleaned, get them sterilized. Once they're sterilized, just shut your oven off, let them cool down. Take them out and put your product in. You know, use your canning funnel. Get your product inside your jars. Then you're going to want to place those into a preheated 225-degree oven for 1 hour and 50 minutes. 1 hour and 50 minutes. Now these are half-gallon jars. That's the time you would use for those. If you wanted to use quart jars, you'd be looking at 1 hour and a half, 90 minutes. Pints, 1 hour and 20 minutes or 80 minutes. Okay, so we've got our product, got our jars cleaned, got our product into the jars. I'm just going to take these out of the way because I've already got some product that's been in the oven for a couple of hours and that's ready to come out and to be sealed up. So I'm going to move these out of the way and we'll get to doing that. Okay. So one of the things that you want to do is we want to talk about safety a little bit. You know, you want to have a towel down so you don't burn anything. You want to have a towel down on a surface where that it's not going to burn anything, because we're talking about hot stuff here, right? You're going to need something to protect your hands, whether it's oven mitts or if you use towels or whichever. I've got these heavy-duty insulated gloves here that I use. So I'm going to go ahead and use those. So the first thing we're going to do, which I forgot to mention to you, is 15 minutes before your product is ready to come out of the oven, you want to take your jar rings, your lids. You want some lids just in a pie plate, just in a tin pie plate like this. And you want to place those into the oven 15 minutes before your product is, the timer's up on whatever it is that you're doing. So that time has passed. Our lids are ready to come out. You take them out just for a minute, let them cool a bit. This will help sterilize the lids, having them in there for 15 minutes, and it will also help tack up that gummy ring on your to make the seal for your jars. Okay. Now, what we're going to want to do is when we take our product out, we're going to want to wipe the rim of our jar with an ever so slightly damp rag that's slightly damp with vinegar, just to take off any dust from the top of the bottle that may prevent the ring from sealing. So once you get your jars out of the oven, you want to do this one at a time, and you want to be quick with it, okay? Just so there's no cooling or anything like that, and to make sure your jars seal well. So without further ado, we're going to get into that right now, okay? I'm going to go grab the first jar right now, so just bear with me. Now, this first jar that we have, I've got a jar of navy beans here. Now, when you're doing beans this way, you want to have 1-inch headspace for your, from the top of your beans to the top of the rim of your jar. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? Bad me. I forgot. Wipe this rim. Clean off it. You know, if your hands touch it, if there's any oil from your hands or anything like that on it, that will clean that off, or if there's any dust from having placed the product inside. So once you get that done, you're going to want to give it a good tighten down, like that, as good as you can, okay? And we're not going to waste any time here. We're going to get the rest out. So that's navy beans, and like I said, 1-inch headspace on those. Yeah. Here we have a jar of chickpeas. Yes, you can do this with chickpeas, beans, navy beans, chickpeas, no problem at all. I'm going to get top of our rim a good wipe, like I said, to get any dust off or anything like that that would prevent a seal. Going to get our lid placed on. I'm going to take our ring and tighten that down as tightly as we can. Now be careful when you do that. This is hot product, right? If you're doing this, make sure you have your feet covered and your legs, because if you drop something and hot glass and hot beans go flying everywhere, you do not want to get that on your feet or your legs. So just another safety tip. All right, you know, just be careful when you're doing things. Again, give our rim a wipe. Get our lid in place, get our ring, and again, as tight as we can get it. Perfect. Okay, so we got our navy beans, our chickpeas, our red kidney beans, and the last to come out will be the rice. I'll be doing another round of this of just rice. And like I said, these are half-gallon jars, so for the half-gallon jars, it's 1 hour and 50 minutes at 225 degrees. There's no need to freeze any of this before going through this process. Because like I said, the oven will kill any pathogens at that temperature and time. It'll kill any larvae or any little critters that are in there. It'll kill all of that. And this will help extend the shelf life of these products to 20, 25, 30 years. And I like doing them in these sizes too. Like, these are half-gallon jars. A lot of people say, you know, 50-gallon buckets, or sorry, 5-gallon buckets, Mylar bags, expensive tops, oxygen absorbers, those kinds of things. But I like to store it in this size because, I mean, if you had to ask somebody to go into the basement and get you some rice, you know, if it was a 10-year-old or if it was your mother or grandmother, would they be able to come upstairs with a 50-pound bucket of rice? And buckets are plastic, and the Mylar is a plastic too, right? Mice and rats can chew in through that, but a mice or a rat is not chewing in through these glass bottles or the metal lids. So I like to do it this way for sake of ease. A lot of people do some vacuum sealing with their dry canning with a vacuum sealer. And they freeze their rice and whatnot for a few days beforehand. My freezer's this big, and it's on top of my fridge. There's no way I'm putting a 20-pound bag of rice in there. So I find this to be more practical. Careful, these are hot. Safety, safety. I find this to be more practical. I find these amounts of goods to be handy. Like, what am I going to do with a 50-pound open bag of rice? I'd need to open a rice restaurant or something, because that's a lot of rice to have open, right? Okay, so yeah, just set them on a soft surface. You don't want to set these hot things on like a cold granite countertop or a cold marble countertop or anything like that, or on your wooden table. I got a cutting board here with a towel on it. Set them there. They're not going to burn anything, and you want to leave those there for 24 hours so that they cool naturally, and that will create the seal on top of your jar. And like I said, once that's done, they're good to go. Now, if you want to, if the bag that they come out of has an instruction label, once they're cool, nutrients measurements or instructions on how to cook, you can just take that label and you can tape that right to the jar, and you can put that into your storage as well. Because if somebody comes across a certain type of bean and it has a certain type of cooking instruction, they might not know what to do with it. So anyways, this is how I wanted to share with you how I do my long-term storage of dried goods. And I hope you guys find it helpful. If you guys have other ways that you do it, or different ideas on it, please share in the comments down below. And like I said, you can do oats, you can do flour, you can do crackers this way to extend the shelf life of crackers. You know, you get a box of crackers and in 6 months it's stale if you don't use it. You can do this with it, and it should be good on your shelf for a couple of years to help extend the shelf life of that. You can do it with pasta, rice, like I said, oats, flour, all kinds of dry goods, but this again is a dry goods only technique. So I hope this helps everyone. I hope everyone's staying well and safe. This is going to be North Shore Preparedness, out for now.